A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ijaz Nisar Sahab, thank you very much for inviting me to this 18th CEO Summit Asia 2019 and also the book launch for the 100 best performing CEOs and companies of Pakistan, the 2018 edition. I would like to also speak about the next 5 years and therefore the reshaping of the future. But before I start, let me tell you that I was not to be in Karachi at this moment, but fly direct to Islamabad from Brussels, where I had gone to attend the NATO's Chief of Defense Staff's meeting, where they had invited Pakistan specially to talk about Afghanistan. I want to give you that sense because I've been a part and parcel of such meetings for a considerable period of time, well over a decade. The positivity that I saw in Brussels this time and the 8-point agenda which they concluded as far as Pakistan was concerned was so positive in every aspect about Pakistan that it acknowledged Pakistan's role that it has played in the regional stability, especially regarding to Afghanistan, and it acknowledged the tremendous sacrifices of the Pakistani nation and its armed forces for creation of this peace and security in the region and beyond. I saw no one single negative reference from any of the 29 different countries of the NATO that were present there. And this change of heart has not come at a small price. Pakistan has paid in blood and sweat for this to have come to this place as it has come. But let me also start with congratulating the CEOs and their companies who have made it to the list. My wish and dream would be that we don't talk about 100 CEOs, but talk about 1,000 CEOs. Not talk about 1,000 CEOs, but talk about 100,000 CEOs. And not talk about 100,000 CEOs, but talk about million CEOs. That is what Pakistan deserves, and that is what is the potential of Pakistan. And it is not the CEOs of Pakistan, which in itself is very important. I believe our CEOs have to make it to the top 100 CEOs of the region. And not only about top 100 CEOs of the region, they have to make top 100 CEOs of the world. After all, Bill Gates and Jeep Store or Alibaba, they have not come with different blood and flesh. They are the children of the same God. And I personally believe we possess greater talent in our country who can actually come and deliver on that account. I personally believe the next 5 years will bring in new possibilities. And why do I say that? Because the trend of the security settlement inside the country and outside the country has phenomenally improved. If you look at the figures from the violence level that existed in 2014 and you just fast forward to 2019, there is a 92% reduction in the violence level in Pakistan. If you just look at the figures of 2017 and 18, there is a violence reduction of 37% year on year as far as violence is concerned in Pakistan. I believe that in the future, as the war in Afghanistan hopefully comes to an end, and there could be a peaceful settlement in Afghanistan in which the people of Afghanistan can feel comfortable and can start looking inwards to their own country there are a lot of possibilities that will open up for Pakistan. And those possibilities will not only be internal, but I believe those possibilities will be regional and well beyond. Because Pakistan, in any sense, is a country of significance. To me, in many terms, it is a pivotal country. It is a zipper state between Eurasia, Asia, and South Asia. In itself, Pakistan has a population which is more than if you combine the population of Germany, France, and Italy put together. And most of this population is young population. The maiden age is less. And therefore you have a human resource capital which is fast dwindling, at least in the West, but may I also say in the East, and even in places like China and Russia, this capital is dwindling. But unfortunately, while we have this potential, we have to also feel this potential. We also have to believe in this potential. Let me give you an example. For all of us, and I'm sure most of us sitting in this room, who have been to our northern parts of Pakistan, who have been to Kashmir, Azad Kashmir, who have been to areas belonging to Fatah, even to Balochistan and other places, we all know the beauty which exists inside Pakistan. Yet it will take some foreign magazine to tell us that Pakistan is a great destination to visit. Well, we have known it for the last 70 years. Pakistan is a great destination to visit. We don't require a foreign magazine to come and tell us in 2018 that in 2019 Pakistan has suddenly become one of the most sought-after tourist destinations of the world. It exists. We have to believe in it. And we will believe in it once we believe to behave as an independent nation. And I believe 70 years plus is enough time for any nation which experienced colonization to have transcended through 2 generations and have come to a threshold where people can think independently and they can act independently. You just have to go to the universities of Pakistan, and I have been to many. You have to just go to the colleges of Pakistan, and I have been to many. These young people who are there in the education system of Pakistan, they carried great dreams. They carry great hopes. In them, there are future CEOs of Pakistan. In them are the future leaders of Pakistan. And for them, this country provides the ideals which Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah had provided to this nation. Also, if you look at this country and its potential, the energy resources that are entrapped, and we are just talking about one of the offshore explorations these days in a great fashion. Believe me, that is a tip of the iceberg. The minerals that are hidden in this land. I don't want to quote a figure because that would be an underestimated figure. Because Pakistan has a belt where minerals in excess, in top excess of the world, including what I call as the rare earth metals. The 18 rare earth metals, Pakistan is one of the few countries which possesses them. And those metals will be very critical for technological advancement as Pakistan moves ahead. But for the future, at the heart of it will lie technology. And in technology, basically what will be fundamental is artificial intelligence. So when you talk about agriculture, revolutions, industrial revolutions, first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third, fourth. Now principally you are coming to a tipping point. And that tipping point will be defined by artificial intelligence. So the haves will be those who will possess and dominate the curve of the artificial intelligence, and the have-nots will be those who will not be in that domain. And as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, it is principally a question of science and technology and the brain. And believe me, I have been interacting with some of the leading Pakistani scientists in the domains that I have headed or I continue to head. You pose any challenge to a Pakistani scientist, it is my conviction by experience, not by desire, that Pakistani scientist will break any challenge that you give to him. He has that potential to him. And therefore, in this artificial intelligence, the key role will be played that of data. So you had the oil, which was the most important resource in the world, and therefore you saw even world wars being fought so that there could be a regional system, an international system, where energy resources, especially oil, could be dominated. This will transform. This will transform because you will require data. Data will replace oil as the most precious commodity of the 21st century. And probably we in Pakistan have to go on a fast learning curve to understand what data is all about. Data is about you and me also. For everyone who is holding this small device called the iPhone in his hand, he is actually holding in my days what I would have called a fighter aircraft or an offensive tank. Because in it is immense data. A data that he can acquire. You can Google anything today which Al-Biruni could not have dreamed in his world. But B is the data that you are actually providing to those who are running these services. And you are doing it inadvertently. Every time you Google a site, every time you visit any website, you try and explore a data, you try and extract a data, a profile is being created, generated. Not about you alone. It is most definitely being generated about you also. I think these service providers, they know more about you than your husband and wife they know about you. Because they are tracking and monitoring, not by fault, but by default, every single move that you are making. And this data is actually being concentrated in the hand of few. And why should this data reside in few select places of the world? Why should we not have data with ourselves? And if we have to go for future, then future demands that Pakistan possesses sovereignty over its own data and acts as a data hub for the region and beyond. That is where the future CEOs will come. And because you will have this data, you will require cloud computing. The way we do our business today will be very fast irrelevant tomorrow. We will be left catching up. हम कमी कमीन बन के रह जाएंगे if we do not harness. How do we harness this immense potential of data through cloud computing? And that requires brains, but it also requires a national vision where such kind of data centers are there. I know in the military, I know for sure, there is no relevance to the way we used to keep data about 43 years ago before I joined the army and the way it is kept now. You can, with a punch, have the data at your hand on anything and everything you wish to know, because there are data centers which are linked across the length and breadth of Pakistan. You have connectivity in communication, and you have redundant connectivity in communication. Line, fiber optics, beyond line, you name it. And therefore the CEOs of the future are the people who will grasp the future with both hands and will explore and take risks in domains and directions in which we have not moved. But this move cannot only happen in cities like Karachi and Lahore and Peshawar and Quetta or Islamabad. Because if that was to happen, we will create a greater appetite of apartheid in the society. Why can't a man sitting in Dalbadin possess the same band connectivity where he can be a meaningful contributor to the society and to the economy and to the security of the state, while he sits in his own home comfort in Dalbadin or Zaidan, or for that matter in Waziristan or Miran Shah or Gilgit or Baltistan or Muzaffarabad or Jhalmaksi. If technology is to remain in the hands of the few, we will be left behind. And this technology, once it is shared with many, you will find that in those many, there are geniuses that we have not explored. And there's one conviction that I have carried in the 43 years that I have served, is that at any place that I have gone and many people that I have met, there are geniuses in them. We have not been able to put the dust from the top of that genius to see the kind of a diamond that we hold. And it is because of this kind of a exploitative dominance that we have, that those geniuses, they have been left behind. Therefore, for Pakistan to develop technologically, we have to develop a system which is based on merit. Because it is Allah and Allah alone who gives potential to human beings. There may be a man sitting somewhere out there who has got the best of the best brains. I know of many young Pakistanis who have made in the under 20 list, in the Forbes lists, as far as science and technology is concerned. But then there were the most blessed ones who had gone to places like Australia and UK and US for advanced studies. Those studies, we have to make them available in Pakistan. Because unless we invest truly, and that is what I want to deliver a message to the CEOs who sit here. If you look at the CEOs of the West, they will invest back into the institutions of education. There is a direct relationship. The man will die leaving more for his educational institution than for his own daughter and son. Because he knows that what he acquired by his own self is because of the opportunity which the nation or the society gave him. So education will become at the heart, if the technology is to be at the heart of this future of Pakistan. Because if you don't have education, then patients will die because you will not have good doctors. Buildings will collapse because you will not have good engineers. Money will be lost because you don't have good economists. Humanity will die because you will not have enough religious teachers who have been groomed how to look at the world from the 21st century perspective. And justice will be lost because you will not have enough and competent judges to see the challenges of the 21st century. Therefore, collapse of an education is basically the collapse of a nation. And the rise of education is basically the rise of a nation. And therefore, as we go on to this technology, artificial intelligence based upon cloud computing, and heading towards technologies in nano domain or in robotics, education will play the most fundamental role. And you can't have many education systems where at the start, in the millions, you only have few thousands because they speak a different language as I do, or because they have gone to schools with a different system as many of us have or our children do. The resource that lies in these small places. I remember when I was a Pakistan's military attaché somewhere in the Western Europe, and I brought their air chief, and he was visiting one of our rebuilt factories. While walking through the factories, he stopped at a place. So I thought, maybe something is. I said, sir, we just have to move forward. He said, no, just hold on. What is this man doing? So there was this Pakistani technician on an aircraft, doing something on the wing. So I called him. Unfortunately, that man did not speak English. He was a non-commissioned officer. So I said, sir, what do you ask him? He said, what is he doing to the wing? So I asked that man, आप इसके साथ क्या कर रहे हैं? So he explained to me कि मैं इस wing के साथ ये कर रहा हूँ. So I explained it back to the Air Chief Marshal. I said, sir, this is what he is doing. But he said, how is he doing without machine? He's doing it with his own hand. It simply struck him. He had come from the West. All he knew was, if you have a problem, bring the machine will solve the problem. Here he saw a man doing the same thing which actually a machine was doing, and probably doing it much cheaper and much better. I can give you another example. We wanted some technological equipment to be placed for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance on one of the aircrafts in the Air Force. We got some companies in the world to bid for it as to how much they would take to install that equipment. The quote that was given to Pakistan came to $40 million, and it would have taken 18 months to complete. 40 million, 18 months. I called some young engineers present at that location. I said, can you do this job for us? But obviously, an aircraft job is not easy because it has to qualify, it has to fly. They said, yes, sir, we can do it. Give us 3 days, we'll come back to you. In 3 days, they came back to us. From $40, it came down to $4 million. And from 18 months, it came down to 3 months. So that is the potential that exists in this country, and that is what I believe for the future. So to conclude, it is not going to be an individual effort. No one individual or no few individuals can do it. Although individuals are important. There are many individuals in this world who have more money than the complete GDP of Pakistan. I could have listed many. So individuals are important because they provide leadership, they provide inspiration, they provide new innovative ideas. But it has to be a system that has to bring up and provide an environment for that kind of a individual to find an opportunity to explore his potential. Why do I say that? Because I believe that prosperity has to be shared. Look what's happening in China. China is massively investing in the prosperity that it has on its eastern coast and taking it towards central China and western China. Look at many parts of the West. West Germany knew, once they had a reunification with East Germany, that unless prosperity is shared with those that were erstwhile East Germany, there would not be a prosperous Germany. So in Pakistan also, prosperity has to be shared. And for sharing that prosperity, we have to invest in that prosperity. For this, there are two ultimate things. One, you need an ecosystem. An ecosystem which is basically crafting a strategic culture of innovation and entrepreneurship. इसमें कोई गुरमुखी नहीं है. लोगों ने इसी तरीके से इसी सिस्टम को, इसी इकोसिस्टम को जनरेट किया है, उसको इनकरेज किया है. और ये स्ट्रेटेजिक कल्चर आपको अपनी क्लासों में, क्लास 1 में, नर्सरी में लाना पड़ेगा. ये स्ट्रेटेजिक कल्चर आपको अपने मस्जिद में, मोहल्ले की मस्जिद के अंदर लाना पड़ेगा. ये आपको अपने माँ बाप के साथ, वो जो बच्चों के साथ बैठ के शाम को डिबेट करते हैं, और अल्लाह करे कि आज भी वो करते हो, कहीं अपने मोबाइल के ऊपर ही सारा टाइम ना गुजारते हो, ये वो उनके साथ उनको वो कम्युनिकेट करना होगा आपको स्ट्रेटेजिक कल्चर, so that in his thought he can dream. The biggest thing in this world is to have a dream. But there are two ways that you can dream. One is you can let somebody sleep and let him dream. That is also a dream. The second is you wake him up and you tell him what the dream is, or what should be his dream, or what is his dream, and let him work toward that dream. That is the dream that I look for, and that is what the message I leave for the CEOs. Thank you very much.